Broke neighbor. Okay, today I'm making scones. So here's how I made scones. So I'm gonna start with the ingredients. The ingredients are flour, baking powder 50 grams, vanilla essence, sugar, margarine, cup of amasi, and eggs. So let's get into it. When I started mixing, I started with the wet ingredients. I took 2 eggs, beat them together with 1 cup of amasi, and then added half a cup of water. Then whisked everything together. Oh, I forgot 2 drops of vanilla essence. You can use different types of essences out there, but yeah, I chose vanilla. And by 2 drops, I'm meaning 2 tablespoons. Then, as I was done with that, it came to the dry ingredients. The dry ingredients were flour and oh yeah. Then I had a thought, and the thought was, what is flour? What is flour? Flour is a powder made by grinding raw grains, roots, beans, nuts, or seeds. Flours are used to make many different foods. Cereal flour, particularly wheat flour, is the main ingredient of bread, which is a staple food for many cultures. Corn flour has been implemented. No. We don't want to hear about corn flour. Ugh, we're here for just flour. Okay. With that being said, these are the grains that we are referring to, raw grains. And then roots, cassava, beans, and nuts. Oh, almost forgot. Seeds too. So this is what makes flour. This is kinako flour, the Japanese flour. This is cassava flour. The cassava is the root that I showed you in the previous image. And then there's corn flour. What we are going to look into today is wheat flour. So what is wheat flour? Wheat flour is a powder made from the grinding of common wheat used for human consumption. Wheat varieties are called soft or weak if gluten content is low, and are called hard or strong if they have high gluten content. Hard flour or bread flour is high in gluten with 12 to 14% gluten content. And its dough has elastic toughness that holds its shape well once baked. Soft flour is comparatively low in gluten and thus results in a loaf with finer, crumblier texture. Soft flour is usually divided into cake flour, which is the lowest in gluten, and pastry flour, which has slightly more gluten than cake flour. So this is the wheat plant where it comes from. That is when it's ready for processing, when it's dry, and this is when it's not, when it's still green and still needs to dry up first. So yeah, with my dry ingredients, I started off by pouring 10 cups of flour into my big bowl. Then I moved on to sugar, which was 1.5 cups. And then I added also the baking powder. Mixed everything by hand. Make sure you mix. Then added margarine, a block of margarine. Need to check how many grams that was. Yeah, so I added a block of margarine, and adding a block of margarine, it was 500 grams of it. And yeah, we do not throw away the paper. We're going to use it later on. And then after that, I needed everything. I had to make sure as I was mixing that everything becomes, fine. No clumps. Make sure there's no clumps. Then I prepare the table. By preparing the table, I Just sprinkled some flour on top of the table, you know, kept it dry. And then added the dough. Once I was done adding the dough, I rolled it, I molded, I made sure that thing is flat. And then after molding and molding, hey, here you see I'm using one hand, but hey, you can't use one hand with this thing. Hey, this thing moves, ne? It moves. So yeah, I did that, I molded it, and then I had to shape up everything. So in order to get the shapes, I started making sure I use the carb to clamp onto it, you know, and get the shapes. And then after doing that, I took one egg and I whisked it and then started adding the final touches, you know, for that brownness. Started, you know, adding it with my fingers, you know, tapping it and making sure it's nice and wet. So since I don't have a brush, I was using that, tapped it and tapped. You can see, you know, giving it some love. Make sure that all of them were nice and covered. Okay, so as you can see, all of them are good and covered. So yeah, I took that packaging thing. I can't call it foil. Looks like foil and something else. From margarine, and I used it to coat the pan. After that, put it in the oven, you know. And once it's in the oven, please remember this. You have to monitor. It'll be brown on the top side. You have to flip it. I used, there's a fork nyana that we had there. I used that fork to flip it. So it can brown also on the other side. And then this is the final product. Oh yeah. Oh, this thing was nice. Thick and juicy. No, I enjoyed them, no lies. I was actually impressed with the outcome. I mean, I thought I was going to make something that was going to send me to the toilet. Yo. But nah, the thing was nice and tasty. Guys, please forgive the chicken. You know Mahaying, how it is. Thing was just screaming for no reason. And by that time, I was doing my, I don't know, is it the 5th recording or 50th recording? So yeah, hey, forgive me for the chicken. It's your broke neighbor, and yeah, from one broke neighbor to the next. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it helps you guys make better scones like I did.